When you begin to shift your perspective to heaven's view, your entire world changes. You stop seeing through the fog of fear and start seeing through the clarity of divine vision. The storms that once seemed overwhelming become small waves beneath your feet. The situations that once felt impossible start to look like opportunities for something miraculous. It all begins with one decision: to stop living from the ground and start living from above. From heaven's vantage point, you realize that nothing in your life is random. Every trial, every delay, every tear carries purpose. You start to see that the battles you face are not meant to break you, but to build you. They are not meant to expose your weakness, but to reveal your strength. When you rise higher in your thinking, you see the hand of purpose behind every challenge. You understand that what looked like a setback was actually preparation for something far greater. When your perspective shifts, fear loses its grip. You no longer look at your circumstances through the lens of limitation. You look at them through the lens of divine possibility. You begin to understand that the same power that spoke the universe into existence now resides in you. You no longer say, "I can't," because heaven says, "You already have." You no longer feel like a victim because you recognize that heaven has placed within you the authority to overcome. This shift in vision turns anxiety into peace, confusion into clarity, and despair into determination. Seeing from heaven's point of view changes how you respond to life. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin to declare, "What is this teaching me?" You no longer react to pressure. You rise above it. The same storm that causes others to sink becomes the wind that lifts you higher. You learn that your circumstances do not define you, your perspective does. You start to walk through the fire not as someone trying to survive, but as someone proving that fire cannot destroy what heaven has refined. When you live from a higher vision, you no longer chase validation from others. You stop depending on the approval of people to feel valuable. You understand that your worth comes from the one who formed you, not from the opinions of those around you. This freedom allows you to move boldly, speak fearlessly, and act with unshakable confidence. You realize that you are not limited by your surroundings because your source is not the earth. It is heaven. Every morning becomes a new opportunity to look from above. Instead of waking up and seeing problems, you start seeing possibilities. Instead of saying, "I don't know how I'll make it," you start saying, "I know something powerful is being prepared." You refuse to let temporary storms distract you from eternal truth. The higher your perspective, the calmer your heart becomes. Peace is not the absence of trouble, it is the presence of vision. Heaven's view reveals that everything you face is under divine control. You no longer feel like life is happening to you. You understand that life is happening through you. You begin to walk with purpose and intention, knowing that every step is part of a divine design. Even in uncertainty, you stand firm, because you know heaven never loses sight of you. What may look like delay in your timing is divine precision in heaven's timing. To live from heaven's vantage point is to live above the noise. It is to see with clarity when others see chaos. It is to know that even when everything looks like it's falling apart, something greater is falling into place. This perspective gives you strength when others quit, faith when others fear, and peace when others panic. You stop focusing on what you can't control and start trusting the one who controls all things. When you lift your eyes higher, you stop seeing your life through the mirror of the past and start seeing it through the window of promise. You begin to believe again. You begin to dream again. You begin to expect again. That's what happens when you see from heaven's view. Your heart awakens, your spirit strengthens, and your life begins to align with divine destiny. And from that moment on, nothing can hold you down. because you've learned to live from above. Living from victory, and not for it, changes the entire rhythm of your life. It removes the weight of striving and replaces it with the power of resting in what has already been finished. You no longer fight battles trying to win. You stand in the assurance that the victory is already yours. This realization breaks the chains of fear, doubt, and exhaustion. It turns your prayers from desperate cries into declarations of confidence. You begin to live not as someone trying to prove something, but as someone who knows who they are. When you live for victory, you chase success, constantly measuring yourself by results. You get tired, frustrated, and disappointed because you are fighting from the wrong position. But when you live from victory, you understand that your outcome has already been secured. You no longer fight to be accepted. You fight because you are accepted. You no longer strive to be strong. You act from the strength already placed within you. This shift transforms every area of life because your confidence no longer depends on circumstances but on truth. From this place of victory, you begin to walk differently. You speak differently. You think differently. You don't allow setbacks to define you because you know they can't destroy what's already been declared victorious. When you live from victory, failure becomes a lesson, not a label. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity for the power within you to be revealed. You realize that nothing can truly defeat you unless you surrender your belief in what's already yours. The fight is no longer about survival. It's about expression. You are not fighting to win. You are revealing the victory that already belongs to you. This mindset brings peace to your heart. You stop trying to earn what has been freely given. You stop begging for what has already been promised. You understand that victory is not something ahead of you. It's something within you. You start to see that every battle you face is simply a stage where that victory can be displayed. This makes you fearless because you know that no weapon formed against you can prosper when you're standing in the position of triumph. When you live from victory, your confidence doesn't waver with the seasons. You can walk through the storm and smile because you know the outcome is already written. You can face giants and stay calm because you know the fight is fixed in your favor. You stop being moved by what you see, and you start being anchored by what you know. This is true strength, not arrogance, not pride, but quiet assurance that the ground beneath you cannot fail. You stop running from challenges because you understand they don't threaten your victory. They confirm it. You realize that adversity doesn't define the end. It reveals the power of the beginning. Every time you face resistance, you remember that gold is proven in fire and diamonds are formed under pressure. You stop seeing struggle as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Living from victory means you approach life with gratitude instead of fear, with faith instead of frustration. You begin to walk with a steady confidence that others can feel. You don't have to announce your strength. Your peace speaks louder. You no longer compete, compare, or complain, because your victory is not dependent on anyone else's journey. You become unshakable because your foundation is unshakable. You start to inspire others, not by your words alone, but by the way you live, the calm you carry, and the joy that never fades even in difficulty. Living from victory teaches you that you already possess everything needed to overcome. You are not waiting for power. It's already inside you. You are not searching for peace. It's already yours. You are not hoping for favor. It's already been given. The only thing left is to believe it and walk in it. When this truth takes root in your heart, every battle becomes smaller, every fear weaker, every limitation powerless. You realize that victory is not a finish line. It is the starting point of a powerful life. From that moment forward, you live with boldness. You speak with authority. You act with certainty. You no longer ask for victory, you express it. You live as a testimony that the outcome has already been decided. The storms may come, the winds may blow, but nothing can change what has already been settled. When you live from victory, you are unstoppable. Not because of what you do, but because of where you stand. When you carry heaven's atmosphere everywhere you go, you become more than just a person walking through life. You become a living expression of divine presence. You begin to understand that your surroundings do not define your mood, your spirit defines your surroundings. Everywhere you step, you bring light where there was darkness, peace where there was confusion, and hope where there was despair. You no longer wait for perfect conditions to feel alive. You create them through the power that flows within you. Carrying heaven's atmosphere means realizing that you are not a reflection of the world around you, but a reflection of the world within you. When others complain, you choose to be grateful. When others panic, you remain calm. When others doubt, you speak faith. Your presence begins to shift the environment because you are connected to a source that never runs dry. You don't have to force it. It happens naturally. Peace radiates from you because peace lives in you. Love flows from you because love is your foundation. You start to see that every encounter, every conversation, every moment is an opportunity to release something divine. When you speak, your words carry life. When you listen, your silence brings healing. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere changes. Not because of who you are on the outside, but because of what you carry on the inside. You no longer react to negativity, you transform it. You no longer absorb fear, you release faith. The power that once felt distant now moves through you like a steady current, changing everything it touches. You begin to understand that light does not argue with darkness, it simply shines. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Your peace is proof enough. You don't have to fight for influence. Influence follows presence. The more you live aware of heaven's reality, the more your life becomes a reflection of it. People may not understand it, but they will feel it. They'll notice that in your presence, they breathe easier, they see clearer, and they hope again. That is what happens when you carry heaven's atmosphere. It heals without effort, it uplifts without words, and it transforms without force. Even in adversity, you refuse to lose your composure, because you know that storms cannot change the climate of heaven. You carry stillness in chaos and joy in hardship. Your faith doesn't disappear when challenges rise, it grows stronger. You see pain as a chance to release compassion, and trials as opportunities to reveal strength. You start to live with a higher awareness that every day is sacred, every step intentional, and every word powerful. The more you walk in that truth, the more you find yourself unaffected by the negativity that consumes others. You no longer depend on circumstances to feel peace. Whether surrounded by noise or silence, success or struggle, you remain anchored in something unshakable. You don't wait for things to calm down to find rest. You carry rest with you. You become the calm in the storm, the hope in the waiting, the light in the dark. People may ask how you remain so steady when everything seems uncertain. And your answer is simple. You don't carry the weight of the world. You carry the presence of heaven. Carrying heaven's atmosphere also means seeing others differently. You start to look beyond their mistakes, beyond their masks, and see their potential. You treat people not based on how they act, but based on who they are destined to be. You lift those who are weary, you strengthen those who are broken, and you encourage those who are afraid. Your words no longer tear down, they build. Your actions no longer reflect frustration, they express love. You become a walking reminder that there is still beauty, still hope, still goodness in this world. And soon, your life becomes a silent message to everyone you meet that peace is possible, that joy is real, That love never fails. You carry heaven not because of perfection, but because of connection. You stay connected to the source that never fades. And as you do, every space you enter becomes lighter, every heart you touch becomes stronger, and every moment becomes sacred. That is the power of carrying heaven's atmosphere. It is not just about living differently. It is about transforming everything around you. You don't just survive this world. You elevate it. You don't just pass through life. You leave heaven's fingerprints on everything you touch, and when you live that way, your presence becomes a gift to the world, a reflection of something eternal that can never be shaken. When you begin to rule over circumstances with divine authority, you stop being controlled by life and start commanding it. You no longer wake up wondering what the day will bring. You rise with certainty that you will shape the day through your words, thoughts, and actions. You were never meant to be a victim of your surroundings. You were designed to influence them. The moment you recognize that authority is not something you earn, but something you already possess, everything changes. You stop asking for power and start walking in it. There is a quiet strength that comes from knowing who you are and where you stand. The world may shake, but you remain steady. Challenges arise, yet you do not panic, because you understand that authority is not loud. It is settled. It is not in shouting at the storm, but in speaking with conviction that it must obey. The one who walks in authority does not react to chaos. They command peace. You no longer let emotions rule you. You rule them. You no longer let fear dictate your steps. You walk in boldness. You no longer allow negativity to dominate your thoughts. You replace it with vision and truth. When you live from this level of authority, your words carry weight. You understand that what you speak has power to shape the atmosphere. You stop speaking defeat because you know your words can either build or break. You start speaking life over your circumstances, declaring strength in weakness and victory in struggle. You begin to align your mouth with what heaven already knows about you. This isn't arrogance. It's awareness. Awareness that you are not ordinary, that you carry the presence of something greater than yourself. Authority is not about control. It's about responsibility. It's the understanding that you have been entrusted with the ability to bring order where there is chaos. It's choosing faith when fear seems reasonable. It's refusing to be moved by appearances and holding to truth until it manifests. When others give up, you stand firm. When others complain, you remain grateful. When others doubt, you declare that all things are possible. This inner posture creates an outer reality that cannot be shaken. You learn to rule your inner world first, because every external victory begins within. When your thoughts align with purpose, your emotions follow. When your emotions are steady, your actions become powerful. You stop being tossed by what others say or do. You stop letting circumstances dictate your mood or your momentum. You start responding instead of reacting. You realize that true authority is quiet confidence, not in yourself alone, but in the power that flows through you. You stop chasing control and start walking in peace, knowing that what is meant for you cannot be taken from you. When you walk in this awareness, problems no longer intimidate you. You look at challenges with the calm assurance that they are only temporary stages for greater strength to emerge. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Watch me." You start seeing difficulties as opportunities to display the power within you. Even in moments of uncertainty, you carry assurance that you are never out of options. Authority doesn't mean the absence of struggle. It means you never lose your position in it. People will begin to notice something different about you. They will see a calm in your eyes, a steadiness in your voice, and a strength in your steps. You won't need to convince anyone of your power. It will be evident in how you carry yourself. You'll no longer need to seek validation, because your confidence will come from knowing you are aligned with divine purpose. This kind of authority is unshakable because it's rooted in truth, not opinion. To rule over circumstances with divine authority means to rise above reaction and live from revelation. It's knowing that nothing can touch your peace unless you allow it. It's walking through chaos and still radiating calm. It's standing in the storm with unwavering faith that the outcome is already in your favor. When you live from this place, life no longer controls you. You control how you experience it. You stop being moved by the temporary and start living anchored in the eternal. And in that awareness, you become unstoppable. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone. Every delay becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes a setup. You walk through life as a conqueror, not because the road is easy, but because you know authority is not about avoiding battles. It's about winning them before they even begin. You stand tall, speak truth, and move forward with purpose. You live not beneath the weight of life, but above it, ruling with grace, walking in strength, and shining with the calm certainty that nothing can overthrow what heaven has already established within you. When you learn to live from heaven's vantage point, something extraordinary happens. You stop merely existing and start truly living. You rise above the noise, the fear, the pressure, and the doubt that once controlled you. You begin to walk with an inner stillness that no storm can shake. Life stops being a struggle to survive and becomes a journey of revelation. Every breath, every step, every moment carries purpose. You no longer see life as a battle to win, but as a victory to express. This is the transformation that happens when your perspective shifts from earth to heaven. You see possibilities where others see endings. You speak peace where others speak panic. You carry light where others see darkness. You begin to live with divine authority, unshakable confidence, and unbreakable faith. The temporary things lose their power over you because your heart is anchored in something eternal. And as you live this way, everything around you begins to change. You bring calm into chaos, hope into despair, faith into fear. You become a reflection of heaven on earth, a living reminder that no matter how dark the night, light always wins. You don't wait for the world to change. You become the change. To live from heaven's vantage point is to live from a place of peace, power, and purpose. It is to know that you are not fighting for victory. You are walking from it. It is to believe that no circumstance can outweigh the strength within you. It is to see as heaven sees, think as heaven thinks, and move as heaven moves. And once you taste that perspective, once your eyes are open to that reality, nothing on earth will ever look the same again.